You've tuned in to the Beyond Hope podcast, your access to success strategies and more to help you survive and thrive through your loved one's addiction challenges while you move onward and upward with your life. Now, here's your host, Shar Jones.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Shar Jones, and I'm the host of Beyond Hope, and I'm also the mother of an addict. So I understand what it means to love someone who struggles with addiction. It has been a very long journey for me, but I have gotten to a place of hope, beyond hope, which is kind of the ironic twist to the name, that I think really hope is where the healing begins. And on the other side of hope is life and joy and love and all these things that are no longer contingent upon the recovery of our addicts. So what I'm hoping to do with this podcast is bring to you so many people that I respect and admire, experts within the industry of addiction and recovery who have so much valuable information to share with me, with you, with all of us. And in addition, we'll be bringing you some stories of hope and hopefully some laughs, maybe some tears along the way, but it's going to be all good. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to this journey with you. Hey there, this is Shar, and welcome to Beyond Hope. I am sharing somebody pretty special with you today. Her name is Julia Treat. And among other things, she is a psychic medium. She's an intuitive, a healer, and a miracle facilitator. She's also a master in Reiki, meditation, crystal, and magnified healing. And she is all about sharing her gifts with the world, and she's really doing her part to make this world a better place. And I just felt incredibly touched and blessed that I got to spend some time with her on the phone recently. After the show, please go check out her website. It's juliatreat.com. And you can also check out her podcast called Stepping into the Light. Here she is. Enjoy. Julia, hi. I just want to welcome you.
Thank you, Shar. Thanks so much for inviting me to your podcast.
It's my pleasure. I've just been thinking about how long I've been listening to your show. I've been listening definitely for at least the last 6 to 8 months. But it's funny how I don't even know how I discovered your podcast, but it was like right on time. It was one of those moments where I was just really struggling, and your podcast, it felt like you were talking to me. And as soon as I started to get the podcast up and running, you just came into my heart, and I just really wanted to have you on the show. So I just wanted to give you a few minutes to just introduce yourself or whatever, and then I'm just going to turn it over to you to just talk about whatever you think our listeners could benefit from hearing.
Perfect. Thank you. And, one thing I've learned over the years is that the universe is going to guide us to whoever it is that can help us next. And you finding my podcast was just one of your steps. And then later on, us connecting to where we can talk about these things, whatever it is, and help your clients and my clients at the same time, my listeners. I was raised a Baptist minister's daughter. I'm a PK. And so for me, my journey was always resistance and self-sabotage, to be honest. So I was raised in a family where, you're supposed to act a certain way, you're supposed to do a certain thing. And I want to start out saying this is not a blame game whatsoever. I'm so big on, my parents only taught me what they were taught to believe or what their beliefs were, and that's fine. And being raised in that sort of environment, not only was I watched and judged by my family, but I was judged by every parishioner in every church we ever served. So my story may be similar to some of your listeners, and they might be able to resonate with some of it, where I was raised always being watched. And so it kind of started this pattern of self-sabotage. And my self-sabotage turned into addiction in many ways. Now, I want to talk today about self-love and the importance of self-love and forgiveness.
Yes, please.
I just recently had I would say, one of the biggest aha moments of my life. I had this picture that my parents have up on their wall of me about 9 years old. And this picture, I swear, has haunted me my whole life. I didn't know why, but I would always look at this picture of myself and think, she has a secret. So it was just my last visit. I went to see my parents. They're about 3 hours away. And we have an amazing relationship now. And I truly believe it's because I have come into my own power. I have really learned how to love myself regardless of what anyone else thinks. And I was there on my last visit, and I was looking at the picture, and it finally dawned on me why this picture haunted me. And I actually just posted this on Facebook not too long ago, because anything that comes up for me, I post it for my followers, because I am like an open book. And I believe if I come to some epiphany, then I'm going to share this, because this might open up something for someone else. So this might kind of get deep tonight, but I want to let your listeners know that this might be something they need to hear. So what I came to realize was, as I was looking at this picture one night in my parents' apartment, this was a little girl so this is a picture of me at 9, but at 6 and 7 years old, I was being molested by some neighborhood children. And it was a family of children. It was an ongoing thing. And so I went through therapy for that for years. And I knew I healed from that. I was fine with that. I really knew that I was. But this epiphany this last trip was, I was looking at the picture and I realized that little girl felt responsible for other children being pulled into the group at 6 years old, like a 6-year-old taking this on, not telling anyone, not reporting it. And the biggest thing was not protecting them. So this aha moment hit me. And I didn't cry or anything. It just finally made sense to me. I am so big about, I'm always asking God, like, what do I need to know now? And what's this about? And please help me heal. Tell me what it is I need to know about this so I can heal from it. And all I heard was, from that moment on, when this was happening with other children, and I'm this little 6-year-old going, I'm not doing anything about this. The rest of my life became my biggest saboteur. I just began beating myself up the rest of my life. So what I realized at that moment, and I'm 49 now, what I realized 2 months ago was that my entire life I was self-sabotaging, and I was blaming everyone else for everything that was happening to me. Because I was raped, we all have our stories, and I have stories too. And I don't want to go into the stories. My point is, I was my biggest abuser my entire life. No matter who I wanted to blame, I was the one that was abusing myself emotionally and verbally. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, like if you get that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I had this huge epiphany, and I just took a big deep breath now, because it was so releasing for me. I realized what I had done from 6 years old. I had taken on all of this and played the victim role. Now, of course, I blocked the whole self-love thing, because all I did was self-sabotage my whole life. I realized just a couple months ago how much I truly hated myself my entire life. I'd have the smile on and everything's great. And truly inside my soul, inside my heart, I was hurting. It wasn't until that aha moment that I had to go back and talk to that 6-year-old and forgive that 6-year-old. I know it sounds crazy, because a 6-year-old doesn't understand like this is bad stuff. But to me, I remember that was really bad, and I took it on as my burden.
Oh, absolutely. I understand what you're saying completely. Please continue. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So when I had that aha moment, I spent the next probably 2 weeks, I had this conversation between the inner child, my inner child, that little girl that took on this weight that she did not do anything about this, and this adult child who has done nothing but beat her up her entire life. And let me tell you, I'm surprised I'm not crying now, but there were lots of tears. I truly felt like the adult me hugging the little inner child and hugging and saying, damn it, like you went through so much and I can't believe you carried that. And we had this conversation, and I know it sounds crazy, but that was kind of my healing.
It doesn't sound crazy at all. It sounds beautiful. And I actually heard that podcast earlier today, and I'm so glad that you shared it.
Oh, that's crazy you heard it today.
I did, because I just wanted to connect with where you were, how you were feeling and what was happening with you. And I just felt definitely moved by what you were saying. And I know a lot of our listeners are going to be able to understand that as well. It's all tied to shame. And I'm right there with you. So, which is just a great place to just kind of move into that. Because I'm sure that my moms out there that are listening understand shame and understand just, the things that we say to ourselves when it's just me, myself, and I looking in the mirror, and it was these horrible things that we tell ourselves.
Absolutely. I want to really tie this into how this rolls into our relationships as adults. So there's many ways that this can continue on in our lives and show up. And, I tell my clients all the time that we go into relationships, we all have baggage, and we all go into these relationships with our own baggage that we have not healed yet. I had lots of it, obviously. And so we go on these relationships, and then we end up with a partner or a daughter, a parent, whoever. And we all have our own stuff, but it's buried so deep. And then we get into relationships, and I'm just going to use, for example, a partner, a significant loved one, a husband, something like that. So we go into it, and then we start projecting our baggage on our partner, like, look, I'm hurting. We do subconsciously, I'm hurting, and why aren't you fixing this? And why aren't you giving me what I didn't get when I was 6? Because now I'm really pissed off at you because you're not feeding what I needed. Mm-hmm. And we can do it with our children. Honestly, I love my parents. Like I said, this is not a blame game. We have a great relationship. But I remember saying to my mom at one point, I don't know how old I was. I think I was in my 20s. My mom and I always butted heads about a lot. And I remember saying to her one time, because I was definitely the rebellious one. I was the only girl. I had 3 brothers. And that wasn't why I was the rebellious one. I just was. And I remember, I always say it was because they always used to gang up on me, and I had to beat off 3 boys. So I became a little tough. But I told my mom, I said to her one day, I said, Mom, when you had me, did you look at me in your arms and did you say she's going to do everything I want her to do? And she said, yes, I did. And I said, that was your first mistake. Mm. And I bring this up because, as I said before, we have our own baggage, and sometimes the baggage includes our programs, our beliefs, all the things we've been brought up to believe is right, and people are supposed to act this way and not do this and do this, and all these rules, and we project them, and we have our own unhealed stuff, and so we project them on the next people, the next generation, and again, I'm not saying that, because of my mom, my life then turned this rocky road. It was very rocky. I mean, I should not be here today. I tried everything I could to leave this planet, and it just didn't happen. Mm-hmm. But I needed to find my own path. I was on my own journey, as my mom was too. Mm-hmm. And coming full circle in all of this, and now being 49 and realizing and looking back and seeing all the things that I did that I should not have lived through, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I counsel clients all the time now on how they can help their children or their loved ones who are struggling with addiction. And the first and most important thing is that they must take care of themselves first. They must, I truly believe this, they have to look inside. They have to start doing the deep diving work. I always call it like diving into the murky waters. We have to heal our own stuff. So I'm a big believer in energy and that we're vibrating. I do believe in energy and that there's low vibration and high vibration. And if we can heal our stuff and begin to move up to that higher vibration of love and joy, which I have found a way to do, thankfully, thank God, then we can project that on the people near us. Like they just automatically start shifting because we have shifted our own energy.
Absolutely. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to take a quick moment to share with you a message from one of my sponsors, and we will be right back. I recently read an article that said 81% of Americans would like to become a published author. Chances are you're one of them. I know I am. So what's stopping us? Well, for me, it's a lot of hard work. It's time-consuming. It's painful and expensive, right? Not anymore. For my next book project, I'm teaming up with Hassle-Free Books, and they are making it so easy for me to become an author. They're removing all of the fuss and struggle and making it smooth and simple. And it's far more affordable than you could ever imagine. Go to hasslefreebooks.com and use the promo code SHAR to receive a 10% discount off of any book project. Get started right away, and you can become a published author in as little as 45 days. And don't forget to send me a copy of your signed book, please. What are you waiting for? Get your story out there. Visit hasslefreebooks.com, promo code SHAR today.
I hope I'm making sense.
Oh my God. You're telling me, like, when I look back, I now know as a parent that I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I get that. Like, I can't blame myself for not knowing, but now that I know, I can start moving into it and I can start to heal. And looking back, like I've struggled with depression all my life. Mm-hmm. And you're definitely moving me with this call, because that's one of the things when I say, somebody had asked me, like, if I could go back and change one thing, like, what would it be? And it would be it's making me emotional. It's like, I would have recognized that I needed help. Mm-hmm. Like I was trying to do everything, and there were so many rabbit trails taking me in every direction, and everything was a struggle. And I just feel like that's the one area where I need to work on some self-forgiveness. It's just because if I could have invested some kind of energy around healing myself, that I could have maybe been a better mom. I'm not saying that, like, I have showered my daughter with love from the beginning. Obviously, I mean, I adore her. She's my heart. We there's no question there. But my goal right now is I'm on this journey of healing myself so that I can re-enter her life and be the mom that she needs me to be today, right? Because I can't go back. I can't change anything. And I wouldn't change her, I just love her for who she is. But it's like, that's just kind of been part of my journey. And this healing over the last couple of years is just recognizing that I needed help, and I didn't recognize it. I say this a lot, but that I was in over my head. I didn't know.
I love that you just said all that.
So I didn't mean to detour here, but yeah, I just wanted to share with you that I understand.
No, that's not even a detour. That's actually perfect, because that's perfect with what I'm talking about in the next step. Because first of all, I would not be where I am today if I did not hit rock bottom. Mm-hmm. You would not be sharing this podcast now if your daughter would not have hit rock bottom, or you.
Right.
And I truly believe that the things, and it sounds cliche, but the things that don't kill us make us stronger. And I do believe so many of us who are leaders, we have to go through the muck, or else how else are we supposed to help others step up if we've never been there?
Right.
Okay. So your path was set. I truly believe that. And your listeners might disagree, but I believe our path is set. And I do believe I had to go through everything I went through, and it wasn't pretty, to become the tough, what I like to say, badass light worker that I am now.
I love it when you say that.
I know. My podcast, I'm like, hello, badass. I've kind of changed it. So And that's what's made me the coach that I am now, because I'm like, I'm not going to help you stay stuck. I'm not going to help you stay a victim. You will go back and say, I wish I could have done this as a mother or done this better. And I'm going to tell you, your daughter is on her own journey as well.
Yes.
And me, so I am a medium and an intuitive, and that's part of my work. And over the years and the thousands and thousands of people I've connected with, it's always the same message, that this soul, so you are a separate soul from your daughter, and I'm separate from anyone else, and everything we have this journey that we set out to do, to come down here and heal. And for myself, I believe we had this discussion with God, that's me, with source, creator, whoever it is that you believe in. And it's like, here, and it's no have-tos. We actually came down saying, I want to heal so that I can help others heal. So that's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And now you're helping other mothers heal so that they can help others heal.
Yes.
It's beautiful. It's like, I call it the ripple effect. And one of my podcasts is called The Ripple Effect.
I say that too.
I love that. See, we're so connected.
I know. So how can we tie all this? I could talk to you for so long. Like, how do we tie all this back to hope? Is where I want to go back to, is the hope.
So I would say first thing to your listeners is, we have to let go of the I shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever have tos, because I can promise you that your child was on their own journey no matter what. No matter what you did, said, anything. I had the perfect, I really did. I had it set. People would say I have this perfect childhood, and it did not turn out the way that people would say was perfect. But it brought me to where I am now. Like, there's no way my parents would have saw me at 14, very promiscuous, binge drinking at 14, and running away at 14 for 2 or 3 weeks at a time, to where I am now. And I'm leading so many people. But it's because I had to go through this journey of forgiving and loving myself and realizing I am pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, you are.
We all are. I want to just add one little thing here. So as I said earlier, we all go into relationships. We have this baggage. Okay. So if you can look at it that when we're trying to please others, whether it's society, our boss, our parents, or child, we are actually trying to please someone that has their own baggage. So it kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, do you get that? Like, that's kind of another aha moment I had recently.
Right.
We're trying to please someone else that has their own baggage. So let's just start doing our own healing and realizing all the stuff. So that 6-year-old, how could I blame her? Which I did my whole life. I needed to have that conversation and say, you were a sweet little girl, innocent little girl. Why did you carry that? You didn't need to. And we had this conversation. Anyone that is dealing with addiction, whether it's a loved one, a child, spouse, I do know something very powerful to do that I'd like to share. And this is kind of off topic.
Oh, yes, please go for it.
A couple of things that I've learned, what I teach my clients. Number one, the vibration you put out there towards the situation feeds the situation. So if you're putting out worry, fear, and I get it, believe me, because there were months my parents didn't hear from me, and I'm sure that they were feeding that. And I'm not saying they were the cause of it, but I know the power of raising your vibration and sending out that feeling and that vision of, I see you healed. I see you loving life. I see you living fully, whatever that means, and sending that vibration out to someone who is quote unquote lost. I don't like that word because we're actually finding our way.
Right.
And another thing that I have gotten to know, or that I had realized many years ago, is that we have this massive spiritual team that wants to help us. We have angels and guides and so many beings of light. And as a mother, you have so much power that you can actually ask the angels, you can send them to your child who is struggling, to your husband, a dad can send them to his children. Like, there's so much power. Send the angels, because the angels will go lift them up. They will help them get through things. send the angels. They can do so much more than you can.
I love that so much.
Yeah, the angels changed my life. I mean, they truly began to help me heal and brought many miracles to me.
I love that so much. And I just love just the messaging that you shared with us tonight. And I just feel like I just feel so passionate about sharing your voice with my moms out there. I just know that there's somebody out there who needed to receive your message tonight. And I'm just so grateful to you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. And, that's what I live for. It's just anything that I can do to help anyone. Thank you. Like, I am so grateful that you had me on the show. Thank you so much. And God bless all of you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm hoping too that maybe we can just continue the conversation. And if you feel impelled that you want to come back, that you will do that.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
Okay. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Shar.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and for helping me to connect with other moms of addicts or loved ones who are struggling with addiction in their lives. If you have questions for me, comments, suggestions on future show content, or perhaps there's a specific topic that you would like to hear from an expert in the field, I would love to hear from you. I am also interested in sharing your voice. So if you have messages of hope or personal stories that you think would resonate with our listeners, please send me an email. You can type me out a message, or you can include an attachment to an audio clip with your voice. You can send that to Shar at beyondhoperadio.com. And with that, thank you again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Beyond Hope. For show notes and more, head on over to beyondhoperadio.com.
A huge thank you to recoveryinnovators.com and James Healy. Thank you so much for putting up with me and for helping me to produce and launch the show. I couldn't have done it without you. You are so awesome. And to anybody else who has been considering working with James, highly recommend him. Please go over to his website and check it out, recoveryinnovators.com.